I have read a lot of books, so many books. And sometimes when I read a book, it changes me. It changes the way I think. It shifts my worldview. And those books I really keep close to me. I feel like those authors are friends of mine, maybe even mentors. And there's three books that went into how I feel about prayer. They were written by three really different men. One was Philip Yancey. Another was Anthony DeStefano, and the third is Richard Foster. Come from really different backgrounds, but boy, what they have to say about prayer has changed me. So you're going to hear the influence of what they wrote in what Anita and I are going to talk about in terms of prayer, and want to talk about a way to pray. So every faith all over the globe that has ever existed has had some form of prayer. It's a uniquely, deeply human experience. Even ancient faith, even the remote tribal faiths, enjoin in some kind of prayer. Prayer is universal because it speaks to a deep, very basic human need. Now, most people believe in prayer, and most people believe prayers are answered. But you know what? A lot of people feel burdened by this sense of obligation about prayer. They don't really want to do it. They just feel like they need to do it somehow, and they don't have not very much pleasure in it.
Right.
You know?
Right. And I think sometimes you're asking, why am I bothering? I'm not getting the answer I want. I think about so many people in the world that are hurt and they're trying to figure out why that happened, and they're praying that they can be released from that hurt, and they're not.
Or even protected.
And then there's the money. Oh my gosh, I do not have enough money to pay the bills. I've had times when I had to choose whether I was going to pay the mortgage or I was going to eat chicken for 4 nights. But I've always been able to eat. And I think about those people that are literally going to bed hungry and they're praying. They just want to have enough to eat. Then I think about my brother. And I wonder why my incredibly gifted, interesting, beautiful brother had to die alone in a chair in Las Vegas. And death. Oh, there's cancer. And why did mom get cancer? And why did that little child that we know at church, why are they dying of cancer? And there's hordes of people praying for them. It feels like the prayers aren't answered.
If we read the Bible, God says, pray, and I'll respond. And then you wonder, well, how is he responding? Because I don't see anything happening. And then Jesus told his disciples, well, whatever you want to ask in my name, I'll grant it. And so we ask in his name and feels kind of hopeless, doesn't it?
A little.
And you know, to answer that question, all those questions, you and I are going to have to get a better handle on what prayer is. What is it and what's it for? And when we think about what is it, it's a connection. Prayer is communion with God. It's not just us asking him for things or expecting him to do something about a situation or a relationship or a tragedy or a calamity. It's listening to God and being changed by God. Prayer is really a very intimate time together with the Lord in which your mind and your heart and your spirit are deeply connected with the mind and heart and spirit of God. And in this way, you have fellowship with God, and often you're going to discover that what he does is shifts your view and your understanding, and your calamity, your tragedy, or even your joyful moments are going to have a different hue.